Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, 10th Man, Chocolate Saiyan, and Righteous Force in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, in continuation of the pre-show chat, any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, claimed to be measured by Al-Biruni?
No, I think that was pretty well discussed in the pre-show.
Anyone can claim to have measured it, but the problem is it's gonna be slightly off every time.
Well, how do you know how off it would be if all you're seeing is the apparent horizon? So what if you're measuring the dip? You're measuring the dip from an apparent horizon. How do you get your geometric position?
They get it by pre-assuming a sphere with a radius of 3959 chocolate.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
It's all about the considerations, guys.
Yeah, taking geometric considerations when measuring an apparent position that cannot be seen and only exists in the maths before it's been measured. But it can't be measured. It can't be seen. Yeah, it's nonsense. It's a do-si-do to make you beg the question of a sphere Earth with a radius of 3959. That's all it is. And on some days, you can reify the horizon into that physical sphere edge horizon and claim you can even measure it as being a physical position to derive geometry from. It isn't. We're also told by the opposing side that it cannot be seen, you wouldn't expect to see it, and it only exists in the maths. So it's definitely not a physical sphere edge horizon, it's definitely not blocking boats and buildings, because it only exists in maths. How can it block things if it's not physical and only exists in maths and can't be seen? Can't be seen? Well, it can't block boats and buildings. Definitely won't need qualification for how many feet and inches of the boats and buildings are missing, given that they have an angular relationship that's being ignored when you assume 3959 radius and then base a physical sphere edge horizon on how much it's blocking stuff when you also tell us it can't be seen, can't be measured, and Al-Biruni's whole story is a complete lie and a complete farce, because he can't measure a physical sphere edge to derive geometry from. Bye-bye R, bye-bye globe assumption. It's dead. No more sphere Earth to assume. Any evidence of axial rotation?
Nope, none whatsoever. Come on, Discord, pipe up.
No? It's claimed in my comments constantly that Bob Nodal proved the Earth is turning underneath an inertial reference frame at 15 degrees an hour. I mean, I don't get it detailed in the way it's actually describing the Coriolis effect. I just get people saying 15 degrees! Because they're morons. Because you globe people are thick. However, if the Earth was turning under that fixed frame of a gyro at 15 degrees an hour, it's also going to turn underneath aeroplanes and drones and bullets and balls, as it would need to demonstrate the Coriolis effect. The Coriolis effect being a 15 degree an hour deviation of the Earth rotating underneath. So Earth's going to need to rotate underneath stuff. Of course, that would shorten flight times and mean that continents are travelling towards hot air balloons as they hover in the air. And that does not happen. Earth is not rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour. You'd notice.
Right, and there's some other problems with what Bob Nodal supposedly did with that as well, assuming that he measured rotation, because I'm pretty sure that the gyroscope he was using was not a regular physical one, and it rotated those degrees perpendicular to his location, which should be the United States. And I don't think that is in the right position to be then moving in accordance to the presupposed rotation of the Earth, which
Right.
should only be perpendicular at the North and South Pole.
Right. He's not
Where
at the
he
North
was
Pole.
not.
He's not at the North Pole. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. The claimed assertion of this 15-degree deviation is a Coriolis effect deviation. 15 degrees an hour is a not actual deflection. The gyroscope is not deviating. Gyroscopes don't deviate. They remain in fixed space. That's the point of them. But why does it seem to deviate at 15 degrees an hour? Why does the gimbal move when the gyro's in fixed space? Well, the claim is that Earth's rotated underneath it. That's the claim. So if you're not attached to the spinning Earth, you'll perceive from the ground 15 degrees of deviation, meaning your drone goes up and you watch it drift away from you. That doesn't happen. It means that a plane goes into the air and you look at it in the air and go, look at that. It looks like it's drifting at 15 degrees an hour because I'm turning underneath the plane. That's Coriolis effect claim. That's what they claim Earth does. But that would shorten the flight times because Earth's turning underneath the plane, bringing continents when travelling west towards the plane as it travels towards them. Obviously, that does not happen. Charlotte, North Carolina to LA would take an hour and a half rather than 4 hours. Preposterous nonsense. Earth's not rotating underneath anything at 15 degrees an hour. Earth does not spin.
Yeah, but terrestrial Coriolis is selective, so some things are affected by it and other things aren't.
Terrestrial Coriolis, eh? I like it. Maybe they'll pay you £1 million for that one.
I hope so.
Let's hope so. PayPal's open.
Yep.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Does that be the terrestrial gravity type? So I could get £1 million too?
Is that standard gravity? Or?
What's gravity?
That's my question.
I think it's a reification
Ask
fallacy.
Kosho. He knows everything.
Arwin had the right answer. Go ahead, Arwin.
Yeah, it's a reification fallacy. Yeah. It's actually a relative density.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Maybe
I
one
don't
day.
know, but nobody says anything.
Nobody says anything. I can debunk that.
Maybe
All I'm
somebody
saying
wants to
this
come and
globe
tell
is
us
supposed to
about
have
their
all these groups,
observational.
but nobody ever speaks.
Maybe somebody wants to tell us about their observational science.
What, the observe and declare?
Yeah. Because that's science too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Observe a phenomena, formulate a hypothesis, observe the phenomena again, maybe formulate another hypothesis, and then you've got your answer, right? That's how it works.
Just keep going round and round.
That's it. No need for testing.
I got a question for you guys, by the way, about that. Is it also kind of true that people from those supposed scientific groups, or that are labeled as such, that they're actually the ones also on the background championing that science doesn't actually prove anything? Is it also coming from them?
No, that's just the morons here. The ones that actually understand it, like that Purcell guy, get very angry when you have someone like Spurs going, no, I just want to talk about science. Meaning, you're not talking about science, are you, sunshine? And they get very angry at that. They don't say, no, science doesn't prove anything. They just get very angry.
All right. Good to know.
Any evidence?
Is that the same?
Go on.
Is that the same Purcell guy that we heard the recording on yesterday? He said something.
Oh, another photosynthetic retard. Yeah, that's correct.
So something about
The one who's not overburdened with an understanding of our reality.
yeah,
That one.
yeah, that guy.
Did you want me to dig that clip
That's-
out again? I think it's worthwhile.
Well, that was quite the admission, because he's saying everything I've said up to this point about it, I don't know anything about this. I'm more into math and calculations.
carbon dioxide, which is a gas.
The claiming divorce law obeys the Bill of Rights.
So this is what I lack. So I believe I stated over and over again is, I'm a mathematician who has become a geophysicist. I am not overburdened with a technical understanding of a great deal of physical reality, as it might be termed.
Classic, man. Classic.
Did he say
I'm not-
mathematician?
I'm not overburdened with physical reality, as it might be termed. What's that you say? You're a physicist? What's the phys bit? Oh, physical?
Did he say mathematician or matician?
I think he said mathematician.
Yeah, he snapped the one.
I think he had a Freudian slip there.
No, he's a former mathematician.
I think he was
Former
right when he said
mathematician?
mathematician.
His degree's in maths, and then I'm short of literally paraphrasing what the guy has just said. He just said it.
Yeah, he's not working at really his level.
He said, "This is what I lack," and then he explains what he lacks, and then he describes it by saying, "I'm not overburdened by physical reality."
No shit.
Not
Exactly.
overburdened by
Shit.
the technical understanding of physical reality. Yeah.
I don't think any ballers are concerned with the physical reality.
Moving on. Any evidence? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No evidence to the distance to the sun.
Nope. I don't think there is any. Just an apparition.
Yet you can assume an R value that cannot be measured, cannot be seen, is claimed to have been measured and seen by Alberuni, and you can derive all sorts of wonderful mathematics for distant stars of vast sizes. Isn't that amazing? Need an R value.
Juice, man.
So we've got the distance to the sun based on the refracted non-geometric horizon, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Base it on a position that cannot be seen, cannot be measured, but we can derive everything in the universe from it in terms of its distances and scales, if we assume Venus has the same R value as that derived R value that we can't see or measure. It's really easy. That's your world, fundies. That's your world.
Yeah,
Does it sound stupid? I hope so. I hope it sounds really stupid when I say it in the way it is, because that's how it is.
So we know Venus is refracted horizon from our refracted horizon.
Right, it's a preposterous nonsense. The level of assumption is off the scale.
Nathan, real quick, just to go back to what we were saying before, because you said, it's only the funnies that come here that say science doesn't prove anything. Well, I dropped something in Master B, and it's one of the more well-known fundies, a little bit more mainstream priests, that himself is saying that. One that goes by the name of Vsauce.
Spheroid. However, I don't know that, and it has not been proven. Science doesn't prove anything.
So a guy that does nothing but talk about science claims that science now doesn't prove anything. And
What's his name?
In reference to, he doesn't know if the ball or the globe is a oblate spheroid. Isn't that interesting? Because again, we were all called science deniers because there's all this proof that we live on an oblate spheroid. But here is Vsauce in 2019 or 2020 saying that science doesn't prove things. Thank you.
So let's just confirm how stupid. Is his name Michael? It's Michael from Vsauce. Hey Vsauce, Michael here. Is it Michael?
I think so. I don't know his name. I just call him Vsauce.
Okay, I think it's Michael from Vsauce. Is a, what's the word? Retard. Science proves or disproves a hypothesis. It is empirical because it validates either the alternative hypothesis, your assumed cause of an effect you observe in nature, or your null hypothesis. That would be to say that your assumed cause does not cause the effect in nature. Upon experimentation, you will either validate your null or validate your alternative, thus proving your cause or proving your null. So science absolutely, unequivocally does prove things. That is the point of science. It has been utilised for quite a prolonged period to advance humanity because of its empirical nature when proving things. Now, Michael from Vsauce is a moron, a scientifically illiterate clown who thinks science, a method of establishing cause and effect, does not prove things. It does. It proves your hypothesis upon experimentation. Michael from Vsauce, you are a clown.
Hey, Chocolate. So they used to call it science deniers, but if science doesn't prove things, what are we denying?
No, it's a projection, 10th man. We are not the science deniers. This globe-believing retard.
It is a three-dimensional.
This guy has just boldly declared to millions of subscribers that science does not prove things. He is literally a science denier. This man on screen now, Michael from Vsauce, you are a science denier. Science doesn't prove things.
Proven. Science doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, it does, you clown. You are moronic. You are stupid. Why are you in front of that mic telling people that an empirical method of establishing cause doesn't prove things? Oh, right. So we still have scurvy, do we? Vitamin C wasn't proven to be the cause. No, that wasn't proven with the scientific method. Saving countless lives. You complete bald-headed twat with your stupid beard. You think that you can broadcast to people your science denial? How dare you, you bald-headed clown? No, moron! Science does prove things. How dare you deny science, you globe-believing retard? This guy here, this moron with his moron face, this is the reason we've got our projected claim that we deny science. No, we don't. This globe-believing retard denies science. He's just said it. Science doesn't prove things. What kind of a moron are you, Michael?
He basically confessed to all of us that he's wasting all of our time.
It's kind of what I was going to say.
And he doesn't prove anything. Yeah, so he's been wasting everybody's time.
But here's the best part, though. Like, his channel is full of videos where he is speaking about science in relation to this globe that we're supposed to live on. But in this particular clip, he says it is a three-dimensional spheroid. But I don't know that because it's not been proven. Science doesn't prove anything.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
thought they had
that's an amazing quote coming from a guy whose channel is full of shit.
Can I say something?
I thought they had a physical geometric horizon, Chocolate.
No.
They used to.
Go on.
So
go
is
on,
he saying
Neil.
they don't?
Hold on. Go on, Neil.
Stop making word soup.
Neil, go ahead.
Before Flat Earth, that's what I used to think as well. That science didn't prove anything. It disproved. So that's how our brain was wired.
Well,
but then why does he have a channel full of science, right? That's supposed to be talking about this globe when he doesn't prove anything.
He doesn't. What he actually has is a channel full of pseudoscience with the assertion of the word science to lend some idea of empiricism to his just so stories. But in reality, just to clarify, the people on the globe side of this argument, and in this particular man's instance, he's also an anti-flat earther. He's made anti-flat earth videos. So the people who literally oppose us and stand with the globe faith are science deniers. This man, Michael from Vsauce, he's a science denier. Science does prove things. But you morons who think you're on a globe will listen to this man telling you that science, an empirical method that's used to prove cause, doesn't prove things. This is why you're all retarded. This is why you're getting shouted at by flat earthers. And when I pointed that out, we all laughed. We laughed at this man, Michael, and his science denial. Yeah, but that's absolutely correct. We were originally claimed to be the science deniers, and here we are with a man broadcasting to millions, saying science doesn't prove things. What an unbelievable clown.
Wouldn't that be the null in the scientific method when that which you thought was the cause isn't?
Pretty much.
Oh, chocolate. I can't hear you for some
The
reason.
null in something, but it doesn't prove anything.
No, what I'm trying to say is that if you use the scientific method the way it was stated, then you're going to get a hypothesis, which is going to be your prediction as to what the cause is. Then you go through rigorous testing to see if that's it, through the independent variable. But if you do one test with that hypothesis and it doesn't do it, that would be a null. That wasn't the cause of why that thing happened. So it proves and disproves the different things you're doing. So it does both until it's empirical to where it is one, and you could obviously repeat it and have others do it.
I can take that.
But that's not what they do.
Just one second, Owen. Just one second.
That's not what they do. What they do is, oh, it doesn't work? Okay, we're going to make a new idea.
Hello? I just want to add one thing to that, 10th man. You can take that one step further. The hypothesis will either have the alternative proving it, or the null, proven. At the end of the testing process, hypothesis turning into experiment, the actualization, you will prove either your null or your alternative. Ipso facto, something will be proven at the end of that process.
Yes.
He is factually incorrect. Michael from Vsauce is just wrong. Saying science doesn't prove things. Upon systematic experimentation, you'll prove your null or prove your alternative. That's all it does!
It's pretty basic.
It just tells me that the people telling the stories of Globe don't know what science is. Clearly, this man does not know what science is. Michael from Vsauce does not know what science is. If he did, he would understand that upon experimentation, you validate your null or your alternative. You prove your null or prove your alternative. So to state that it doesn't prove things is factually incorrect, making him a clown.
Yeah, but they find themselves in this quandary because they've used science all these years when it was convenient. And then when we ask good questions and say, prove it, now they have to throw their science that they used all these years, you know, the white lab coat and all the things that go with it, under the bus and say, well, it actually doesn't prove things because we can't answer your flat earth questions. So we got to say it doesn't prove things.
Yeah, basically the whole time they were claiming they had science, the whole body of science proves you're on a sphere. How could you argue with science? You're a science denier, Mr. Flat Earther. No. All of the globe faith was based on pseudoscience. You have absolutely not one shred of scientific validity to your assertion that we stand on a spherical surface. We do not. And when that's pointed out, we are told that science does not prove things. Incorrectly. Because what they've asserted as science, using the vernacular of science to lend empiricism to their story, was not science. So they throw the actual science, the one that is empirical, the one that does prove things, under the bus as though it doesn't prove things. Yes, it does. You just don't have any. You don't have any to prove your globe. There isn't any scientific evidence that we're on a sphere. It's a complete nonsense assertion, but we've been told for years and years how much science there is to prove it. There isn't.
Boy, have the tables turned.
It just kind of sounds like a get out of jail free card to me. Like, after all the videos I've seen with this guy, that's, you know, where he's talking about the globe and it is a globe and he's explaining the globe and telling us all these things. And then for him to say, well, it is a 3D spheroid, but I don't know that. because it hasn't been proven. Science doesn't prove things. To me, it just sounds like, just in case it's caught out there that it's not what he's been claiming it's been all these years, here's him saying, yeah, I don't know if that's what it is because science doesn't prove things. That's all.
It is a three-dimensional spheroid. However, I don't know that, and it has not been proven. Science doesn't prove anything.
What an idiot.
Everyone, unsubscribe from this fool.
But just know that he's a fool. That he's been peddling pseudoscience this whole time. And he hasn't got any science, so the only get out of jail free card, as it's put on chocolate, is to say, well, science doesn't actually prove anything. Oh, that's an outright lie, and you're being called on it. Do you say that was recent? Do you say that was 2019 or 2020 chocolate?
Yeah, it was pretty recent. I don't know exactly which. It's within the last year at least.
They're recent enough for us to have not been subscribed to and not realised he said it, had it highlighted and now call him on it.
Well, he would be correct if he said pseudoscience doesn't prove things, but he didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what he meant. I've got pseudoscience. It proves nothing. I've said it's science, but science doesn't prove anything. That's why my pseudoscience not proving anything's all cool.
It's from an interview on December 17th, 2019.
It's eight months old.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he's been called on it. I'll trim this out. I'll title it. Michael from Vsauce called out as a pretender clown science denier. So, there you go, fundies. There you have it. We are talking about the scientific method and holding you to task on your claim of science. Meanwhile, the Globe side, one of the biggest Globe proponents on YouTube, is telling you that science doesn't prove anything. Essentially, your side are science deniers. And that is precisely what you're going to be called from now on. I'm going to start throwing this in your faces, science deniers, like Kosho, the science denier. Denies science, reifies maths. Any evidence of the
That's
R
why I
value?
brought that up this morning.
Earth radius. Any evidence?
Black Swan.
At best, we've slightly disproven it.
Radius? What's that word soup?
Well, that was the whole point of the pre-show today with Kosho, is to have something prove that R value. And he said they had it. And then when asked to prove it, just argument fell apart.
Yeah, it sounds
That's why
like a
I brought it up
continuation
this
from
morning,
last
because
night.
he was
on
on the, he was in the arena last night.
You're both saying the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, they're considerable question beggars when it comes to R.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's what we got on the pre-show. Well, if I can just tell you about how the refracted horizon is calculable within 5% of blah, 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 blah. Yeah, let's take it to the maths. Let's take it to the reification. Forget the fact we can't see this thing. Forget the fact it can't exist in reality and we wouldn't expect to see it. Let's just calculate it anyway. Because then we don't have to worry about what we do or don't see.
Nathan,
did he go into his understand how Al-Biruni understood that he was measuring a ball?
Yes.
In order to measure a ball,
That's what I was
did he say
trying to
that?
get to. No, I was trying to get him to say that.
Did they defrost him then?
Yeah.
Did they dig him up and defrost
Nathan,
him, wire him up to some electricity, and then get his ideas and musings about what he was claimed to be doing when he was thinking about it? Because he's written down what he was actually doing. He was deriving R geometrically. So his musings, based on what? The divine thoughts of Kosho about a corpse? Shout out to Al Junkie. He says, Highlander on horizons. There can be only one! Thank you very much for the super chat. Also, shout out to Unisox Femu. But if you presume, you can prove almost anything. That's right. Assuming unicorns are real, then unicorns are real. There you go. Begging the question's really easy. Assume a sphere's real, and the sphere's real. I just need to inject some nonsense in between those two statements, and it makes it sound more valid. Thank you very much,
Because how could you ever end up measuring the sphere if you didn't go into a understanding that you're measuring a sphere?
Also, do you see the huge contradiction in their argument when they say, oh, he's measuring the horizon, the refraction wouldn't make a big difference. And then they look at the black swan and they say, oh, it's refraction making a big difference.
Yeah.
Super extreme refraction. Wild refraction, he said yesterday at one point.
I just see that as a red herring, though, Nathan.
Wild
because
refraction.
Talking about the refracted horizon and how there's a big discrepancy between these two refracted horizons, I had to say 19 times to Kosho, if the horizon is refracted, it's not geometric. There can be only one horizon. It's not geometric,
well,
though.
I would say, Nathan, it was very good pre-show. People should listen to it because it was surgical in nature, where he was begging the question. You wouldn't let him keep rambling on until he conceded something, and that last point was the point he never conceded. If it's not geometric, right? If it's refracted, it's not geometric. He wouldn't concede that.
Precisely. They just want to talk around the fact that you can't measure something that's only existing in their maths, but he's claimed to have measured to derive the R value to give them their maths. That's a big problem. It destroys their model. They've no longer got an R to assume. It's no longer tenable. You can't measure it. End of R assumption. Still there, having really weird power flickering in my house currently. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, you're still here.
So another shout out to Unitox Femu. He says guitar proves physics. Everyone knows that. I think he's watched QE's repeat of the Wiggles getting his ass handed to him. Thank you very much for the super chat, Unitox Femu. You all still here?
Yeah, we're here.
I could have done with some affirmation. I'm having power issues. I don't know if the power's going to cut out or something, if everyone's boiling their kettles at the same time, but my lights are flickering and my equipment keeps semi-shutting down. Fortunately, I've got a good power supply in the PC, so we're still running, but I wouldn't be surprised if the show gets cut off by a power cut soon. I don't know why. Anyway, where were we in terms of housekeeping? Any evidence of gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Definitely not.
No. The realm is definitely contained. How it is contained is another matter. But there is definitely a limited amount of space available, or we would not have gas pressure.
I'm just delighted.
But up on the mountain, there's it's less gas pressure.
The gradient.
Yeah, that's only possible. There's only a gas pressure gradient possible because there is gas pressure because it is contained by a limited amount of volume to expand into.
I'm trying to say, I'm so impressed with this computer that I'm so glad I spent like 200 quid on the power supply rather than 30 quid. Because everything in the room has just cut off. Everything. I've just had to go around turning it all back on again. It's all cut off. But the PC carried on running. Amazing. We've not stopped. We're still live. Fantastic.
Nice.
Shout out to expensive PC power supply.
We got a backup energy to prevent spikes.
I
got the same thing. Sometimes things can flicker over here as well. And then my computer keeps on running because, I made sure I got the good version for the
man.
For the power.
I did. I spent like solid 200 quid on it. Clear Sonic. I mean, I had one that was cheap, and then I upgraded it to an expensive one. And I'm so glad I did, as the show is still going on. Smash the super chat. As you...
That's because you're making all that money not believing in a flat earth.
You spent all that money not believing in a flat earth? Say that again.
I said that's because you're making all that money talking about flat earth, which you really don't believe in, Nathan. Come on, haven't you heard?
Where is this nonsense coming from? I'll address that in a minute. Al Junkie, thank you very much for the repeated super chats. Al Junkie equals obvious and observably cooler than Al Baruni. Thanks, Shallow Junkie, for the super chat. Yeah, as it stands, if you set up a channel right now and focus your attention on me and use my name in your tags, you'll grow quicker than I am. The only growth I see is when somebody like Eddie Bravo shouts me out. That's when I see growth. Other than that, I don't see growth because my stuff's not reaching people. Now, what I get bombarded with is people making videos about Flat Earth. Anti-Flat Earth videos. They're all over the homepage. Right? Well, I'm not over the homepage. None of us are. So which would be more likely to make me money? If I was only here for the money, I'd just switch sides. It'd be really easy. I could make a ton of money by going on the other side because I know that the videos would get promoted. And they do. That's why we all get Conspiracy Cats and Simon Dan and Wolfie and all the rest of those videographers are all shoved right under our noses, whether we want them or not, right? You all see them in your homepages, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
I get a lot
And
of
if you're not a
garbage
flat earther,
suggested.
you're better than De Niro.
Right. So what's getting promoted? Who's seeing vast growth? Yeah? People who started when I was 3 years into this, like Conspiracy Cats, has massively outstripped me in growth and undoubtedly in revenue. Well, more power to him as a YouTuber. I'm all for that. You know, great. As a YouTuber, I wish him every success. You know, obviously he's my competition in terms of the subject matter. So, but if you're just going to purely look at this from a financial point of view, me wishing him every success if I was purely money motivated would be me going over to that side of the argument, like Jose. Now, from a financial point of view, Jose's smarter than I am, right? He's made the right jump. He's spotted that he'll get promoted in that manner if he's anti-Flat Earth. So, wise move financially, Jose. Bravo. Total scum.
No, he's just
morally,
retarded.
Yeah,
but
it
morally,
only costs you your soul, that's all.
yeah, morally, it's right at the bottom of the pits, right? I couldn't live with myself. No, you know, second on the list. Yeah, I'm here as a YouTuber. I never deny it. I want to feed my family. This is the job I've chosen. I'm never going to deny it. That's my purpose. Obviously, I want to bring in revenue. Yeah, that's why I've dedicated my life to YouTube. However, that doesn't mean that the subject matter isn't also very near and dear to me. The Earth is obviously inobservably flat, and I'm extremely passionate about that. Now, do you think I could use that to put the passion into the lie that I'm fighting against? Just to make money? Well, if I was mercenary, I could. But I'm not. You know, yeah, I need money. Everybody does. That goes without saying. But Flat Earth isn't going to be something that I'm suddenly going to throw under the bus or come out as a globe earther in a year's time going, ha ha ha, I was actually here to lead you down to this river to drown you. No, it's just flat.
Well, that's what people claim. I don't believe it. If you don't believe the earth is flat, then you are the greatest actor in the world, Nathan. You're better than De Niro.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Nathan, it gets to a point where it doesn't matter if you're promoted or not, because they'll just demonetize your channel like they did with mine, even though I had one strike over 5 years.
Maybe.
So,
depends if you're following the rules. I'll come to that in a second. There's loads of super chats coming in. Thank you very much. I don't really need them. This is why I'm not going to complain. I'll just shout out these super chats. Hold that thought. Can you repeat it in a second, Nathan? Shout out to Alexander. He says, hypothesis, Michael is a moron. IV, plays videos. DV, the more he speaks, the more he looks like a moron. You can vary the IV to change the DV. Thank you very much, Alexander. Really appreciate your support. Also, a shout out to Unitox Femu. Earth is also rotating with atmosphere around the sun in that vacuum, moving through the vacuum. Right, on Unitox Femu. Thank you very much also for the super chat. And last but no means least, Dave Rakia Gafford, or Rakia Life. Shout out to the stronger power supply. Supplies keeping the truth flowing. Life is good. Absolutely. That's exactly what I thought, Dave. I'm like, everything's shut off. The amp's clipped. The preamp's gone off. The lights are flickering. Oh no, the show's dying around me. And I'll look up and the PC's still on. It's like, oh, hooray. I'll just turn the amps on and off again, turn the preamp on, and maybe worry about the lights turning off at a later date. But yeah, absolutely. That 200 quid power supply was worth every penny. Right, Nathan, I've forgotten your point already. Can you repeat it?
of course. And I didn't even really get to the point. What I said earlier was, yeah, you'll get Glow videos promoted and they'll make more money. But eventually, like my channel, it got to a point where they just demonetized my YouTube, which is why I wanted to make my point and say this. anyone who listens to Nathan and supports what he does, go become a Patreon, figure out his PayPal or his Cash App, and donate directly. 30% of these super chats go to Google. And if one day something ever happened to the YouTube, you'd want to be connected directly. So I'm a proud Patreon of you, Nathan, and support what you like or it goes away, guys. That's how I feel. And so happy to be here.
Oh, thank you very much for the sentiment. Also, Unitox Femu says, Nathan deceived people and taken money from them with a super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, Unitox Femu.
Okay.
Yeah, you've just got to stay on the right side of the terms of service, and I know you haven't, Nathan.
I know.
There we go. It's one of those. Some people assume that you've got the right for freedom of speech on YouTube, and you don't. It's terms of service. It's an unfortunate situation, and I'm really fussy, And I joked about it the other day, Nathan, with I don't know if it was Arwin. No, it was Spurs, and he was saying that he tolerates them begging the question and even allows them to do so, like giving a heroin addict a little bit of heroin. And I said, well, what if it was devil worship? Is it okay? A little bit of devil worship's okay? Now, irony of irony, the reason I'm saying this now is because that is actually quite happily accepted on YouTube. You can get away with that. But if you in any way challenge something that's a current mainstream media topic that's, a magic trick that's currently in the making, then you'll have your channel shut down. But a little bit of devil worship, that's all right.
What do you mean, like coronavirus? Oh, I'm sorry.
You can say coronavirus. It's not like saying the words coronavirus is going to get your channel shut down. That's not the case. But if you start speaking like you're a doctor, yeah, you're going to get your channel shut down.
Well, thank goodness Fauci doesn't have a channel.
Ugh.
Just don't.
Fauci can't throw a ball. Did you see him throw the first pitch out last night?
I don't want Nathan's point to get lost, right? And I've done the same thing recently, right, on behalf of Russian vids, because I said the same thing about him, right? There's going to be people out there that don't care about the terms of service. They just want to disseminate their information out to a public, and they will risk it. Now, more power to those people. I'm not one of them. I rely on YouTube more than is required to highlight current media hoaxes, and I just don't want to do that. It's not my bag. It doesn't excite me. But even that said, the people who it does, they want to disseminate that information. They risk losing their channels, and often do. And one of them's Russian vids. I like Russian vids a lot. I watch his stuff. I really enjoy his material, but his channel keeps getting shut down. And as Nathan said, he's got Patreons now. So it's not like he will have to or be forced to stop putting out the information in the way he puts it out because he can't do it because he'll end up financially ruined as a result. So he's now got patrons that support him. Me too. When I tell my wife about my financial situation, which I find myself frequently doing without boring you, I say, oh, thank God for Patreon. So you're one of my patrons, Nathan Thompson. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, it's one of those. So yeah, this is a really dirty topic. Can we change the subject from here on in? But thank you for the sentiment, Nathan.
Of course.
We could talk about peer review heat with Spurs.
Spurs here?
No, I'm saying we could talk about peer reviewing heat because of Spurs yesterday.
That's just a Spurs trait. He's so used to dealing with the ballers that he's expecting a gotcha to come after every very direct question. So when you say to him, how would you vary heat, Spurs? His answer automatically, just as an instinctual, impulsive answer was, I don't know about that. That's his instinctual answer because he's used to dealing with ballers.
Right. Not just ballers. He sit in a room with them, like with 20 of them. Remember his new thing?
I don't know how he does it. I frankly don't know. I mean, I did it for a prolonged period.
I don't know how he does it either.
Well, I know how he does. You just really have to enjoy pain.
Well, I know how he does it because he tells us why he does it. He's offering therapy. He's trying to help them in their mind. So he likes all these crazy people confessing things because he's going to fix them through chemotherapy.
He views it as altruistic.
He's going to give them all chemo brain.
Yeah, he's actually going to poison them all.
I love chemo, though. He's fun.
Oh, chemo's ace. He's one of my favourite people ever. I know it might not seem that way when he comes in and we argue with him, but it's the same when I'm arguing with the baller. People are like, oh, he's just full of rage. It's like, no, you don't really get it. This is very much controlled rage. That's why within a split second of it actually ending, I can flip back. Like today, I'm screaming at Kosho and then I just start the intro and get on with the rest of the show. So it's not like I'm, fuming at the mouth and foaming and need carting away and committing. Far from it. It's controlled anger. And Kosho's a perfect example this morning of that, but also Spurs. It makes no difference. The fact that you can get heated and passionate about things with Spurs is excellent as far as I'm concerned.
I wonder how his discussion with conspiracy cats and those other balls went yesterday. I didn't get a chance to catch it.
Did you all tune in?
I missed it. Couldn't find it, really, if I'm honest.
I gave the channel name as it was told to me by Spurs, though, and I repeated it. Did you not find the channel?
I looked for conspiracy. I know it was a new Conspiracy Cats channel, but I looked up conspiracy. I'm not subscribed to him. I looked him up, but I couldn't find the second channel he has.
I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, so you looked up the name that was parroted off yesterday and you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might just be a brand new channel. It might just be literally it hasn't made its way into the algorithm yet, but who knows?
Wasn't it agree to disagree? Something like that?
Yeah, agree to disagree. Maybe it'll appear in the algorithm soon. I'm sure Spurs will spam out a few links for it. We move on. Do we have gas pressure without a container? I think we've had that. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Absolutely not.
No, just paintings, imaginations.
Yeah, that sounds typical. Lamal Johnson says AB science kept going to a math equation. Yeah, I immediately dubbed him AB maths. So a few people have seen it by the looks of things. Does that conclude the housekeeping? Did we ask all the questions? No.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent.
That's all they got is math, calculations. Nothing, as Purcell says, he's not interested in the physical reality.
Yeah, the empiricism of science has been hijacked by mathematicians to take the abstract descriptions of their just-so stories and have us, the public, reify them into an actual physical existence, i.e. the mathematical idea of us standing on a sphere into physical reality. And we're not. It's just that simple. The idea of standing on a sphere is a mathematical reification.
Reminds me of that quote attributed to Tesla saying how they've taken science experimentation and substituted it with calculations.
Yeah, you know who said that recently? Theoropothesis said that. And he was talking on the subject of reification. And he made it explicitly clear that gravity is not real and that time is not real. That these are merely mathematical reifications. So big shout out to Flatzoid who sent me that clip. He's like, check out what he's talking about in this clip. So I thought, okay, I actually am subscribed to Theoropothesis, but I hadn't seen that. So I checked out the clip and I'm like, he's talking about what are you talking about? Now it's pretty clear he's not doing it as a result of us talking about it. It's just matter of fact. So he's saying it in a very different vernacular, a different phraseology. So, sometimes you can say that's as a result of us talking about it. Shout out to Retro Bill for the super chat. They say math proves things, but science doesn't because reality could be a simulation. Ugh. But if that's true, why wouldn't the fact that math proves things also be part of the illusion? Yeah. Math is abstract. It's always going to be that way. Math is not reality. Nice. Math is abstract. But thank you for the super chat, Retro Bill. Right on.
Hey, Nathan, Ken also did a video about how Einstein...
Nathan?
Yeah, he recently, Ken Wheeler, Mr. Magnetism, he did a video about Einstein, talked about how he plagiarized all his work. He failed the entrance exam to college. He tested with the lowest IQ out of his class. And he talks about his diaries. He couldn't read the diaries. He said they were too racist to repeat on his channel. But he went in depth into Einstein. And he also said Einstein's a euphemism for idiot. It means one stone. So the guy's got one stone rolling around in his head. And I just think it's funny, all these globe heads just have this freak cartoon ball in their imagination. And that is their Einstein rolling around in their head, their one stone. So, just funny, dude.
But the hypothesis is a globe head.
Yeah, globehead calling out Einstein as a plagiarist and a fraud and a bigot.
Right.
Well, didn't he also have on record a really weird, misshapen brain that, like, they even tried to study it?
Oh, I don't know if I believe that story. That somebody's apparently got his brain, haven't they?
But here's
it's
story.
Not like a normal
Ken
brain.
Wheeler.
It was specifically malformed in some way.
Isn't that your upgraded power supply?
Hold on, guys. Go ahead, Nathan.
They said it was 3 times denser than the average human's brain. Now, it is true when you develop new memories, you develop these wrinkles on the brain. So someone who has more knowledge will have a more callous or more wrinkled brain to create surface area. But that's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say something else, and I got distracted. Sorry, Nathan.
That's okay. I think you were talking about Ken Wheeler in terms of him calling out...
yeah, and he's a globehead, but he also did the cold moonlight experiment with a FLIR, infrared thermal imaging, and he picked up how moonlight was cold and the shade was measurably warmer with a FLIR, and he's a globehead.
Yeah. Well, can I just give you my take on this? Because there was a stage that I thought, well, maybe he is like some of the people who disseminate the nonsense, but also give the confession of how it's reified in their description. So Andrew Thomas Young is a perfect example of that. But he basically seems on a surface level to be somebody who's like that. You know, they actually understand how it's not really the case that we're standing on a sphere, but you've got the mathematics to describe it in that way, or you can purvey the philosophy in such a way that doesn't necessarily mean you think you're standing on one. And that was what I thought was the case until about 2.5 years ago, when he went on a boat trip. And one of the videos he released from his cruise or whatever he was doing, I forget what it was a picture of a sunset. And the title of the video was "One Sphere Moves Behind the Other." And when I saw that, I'm like, well, there you are you're actualizing this. You're doing the reification before our very eyes. You're saying what this light in the sky is a ball of gas in a vacuum moving behind a sphere Earth. In other words, he's describing his reification of that mathematical construct and philosophy. So I know for a fact that Ken Wheeler's fell victim to this reification fallacy himself. Now, the fact that he doesn't recognise that and has indeed braced against it because he's had it highlighted to him by flat earthers and just braced against it is just a testament to how good the programming is. Because he should recognise it, right? He should recognise the reification fallacy that is globe Earth in the same way he's recognised the reification fallacy that is Einstein's bending of pseudo-Riemannian force space and time.
Yeah, and at least I wonder why they're propping it up. At least wonder, if you know it's not real, why do they promote it? Why is he the man of the century according to Time magazine if he's a bigot and a fraud and he plagiarized all his stuff?
Why do we prop him up? Status quo.
Yeah, he should see it. I agree with you.
They prop up all current narratives, the ones that they want to prop up.
I think the quote that 10th Man was talking about before was pretty good with Nikola Tesla. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. I think that's spot on point right there.
They described it perfectly.
Cool. Thanks, Nathan. It's interesting to discuss the Theora hypothesis because there's plenty of flat earthers that seem to really like the guy. I said I'm subscribed to him. I like what he says about cameras. I do watch his stuff. I just tend to tune out a little bit when he goes off on some of the magnetism stuff. I do tend to tune out a little bit. I'll be honest.
How do you spell his channel's name?
You're gonna ask me to spell Theorohypothesis? I don't think I could.
If you type Ken Wheeler, Mr. Magnetism.
Yeah, just type Ken Wheeler.
Hypothesis?
Hold on, just type in Ken Wheeler. You'll find it that way.
Got it.
Man knows his stuff. He makes camera videos. So, he knows a lot about how light's working with cameras. And man, does he know his stuff. He's about as knowledgeable. I can't think of a single person that knows more about cameras than he does. Can you? You name one person that knows more about cameras than him.
No way.
Nobody. He knows everything. He just knows everything about cameras, doesn't he? And lenses.
And not just knows everything. He's had them all and had different lenses and tried all the different tripods. I mean, the dude's a beast.
Not just had them all, had multiple.
Has he ever gone into any detail about how cameras would work or would not work in a second law of thermodynamics violation?
I don't think so. Although it may be an interesting question to put to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious. Because I've seen documentaries with, professional photographers all around the world saying how, these pictures that we supposedly get from the moon landings and things from outer space like that, those just wouldn't work. So to hear you guys talk about this guy with his camera knowledge, that'd be interesting to hear. Sorry, Nathan.
Yeah, no, go. Yeah, you're right, man. All those people who work in photography and film, they talk about how the mechanisms and all the metals and all the plastics in the camera, they expand and contract based on temperatures. And if you're on the surface of the moon and you're dealing with those kind of temperatures, those cameras would not function at all whatsoever. So that was great. I don't remember where I saw that too, but I saw that.
Hey, QE, good to have you.
Hey, what's up? So where were those pictures taken?
Second law of
thermodynamics violation.
That's what I thought.
I thought it was a Hollywood basement.
Same difference.
So Eric DeBay recently did a video about the moon landings, and he took it apart based on all of the arguments in terms of people's criticism of the photography, which is all well and good, but the whole time I was watching his probably 30-minute long video, I was thinking, all of this is claimed to be taking place in a vacuum, and that's not possible. So as much as he was on point, all of the detailed explanations he gave were just as valid as they were when they were first put forward. The argument's moved on in terms of debunking anything that's claimed to have come from the second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum known as outer space, 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum. Well, that claim is the end of any assertion from that region. So space travel, complete bollocks.
Yeah, the ones who still believe in a globe, they have to. Or the ones that still believe in a globe but don't believe that astronauts went to the moon, they got to kind of hold on to those debunks, because that's what they got. They're debunking the moon landings.
Hey, what happened to Spurs? Did anyone listen to the video or see the video?
We've just got one commenter from the chat said that AB Science kept going to mathematical equations, but no, nobody here has actually watched.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Hey, Spurs, where's this video at? Where'd you have it at on yours? I haven't seen it.
Spurs isn't here.
Yeah, I know. He might be out in the audience, so that's why I'm saying.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to actually round out this live show. So I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to all of you tuned in live on the Nathan Oakley live stream. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!